Welcome to the last luxury live show of 2020. Right beside me, my partner in crime, good friend, Kat L. Hello, guys.
Hello.
I see, I see. We're not late. We were just, we are just kind of chatting and then lost track of time a little bit, but we're here. So thank you so much for joining us. Today's topic is going to be a pretty lighthearted, but also I think it's going to be a really interesting live stream today because I found these questions. It's kind of like they're like tag questions, but some of them are common questions. Some of them are pretty unusual questions, such as what would you do if you won the lottery type of thing. So I thought it would be really fun for us to go through that. And as a final show of the year to finish off lighthearted. So a little bit of housekeeping in case that you guys haven't seen the last episode on Kat's channel. We announced that today is going to be our last show. And then we're going to take 3 weeks off and come back fresh in January with, resuming our show. By the way, I want you guys to maybe put it in the live chat section or in the comment section to let us know if there are any sort of topics that you want us to cover next year. It always helps us to sort of brainstorm. And of course, we come up with our own topics too, but we welcome suggestions. So hello, guys. Oh, I see so many comments coming in. Great. So let's start off with our first question. And by the way, if you guys have questions for us, do not hesitate, but definitely put a bunch of question marks in front of your question so that it helps us see it because we're on a different platform. And I'll give you an example, which will be our first question. Where did we grow up? Do you want to get started first, Kat?
Okay, I'll go. Because I know Amy sent all these questions to me like a couple of days ago, and I was like, all right, I just glanced through it, but I didn't really think of the answers yet. So where did I grow up? Okay, I grew up in Malaysia, so that's the whole country, right? But most of my years were spent in KL, Kuala Lumpur. I wasn't born in Kuala Lumpur. I was born elsewhere because my family, they worked in different states around Malaysia. And I was born in another state. But then finally, they brought the baby and we settled in KL. Kuala Lumpur is the capital of Malaysia. So even though when people see, we know, okay, for Malaysians, we know where we are born based on our IC number. So when I give my IC number, my identification number to some people, they're like, oh, you're born here. Can you speak this language? Because it's a very unique place and you have a special language there. I'm like, no, I was just born there. It's quite interesting.
Oh, that's so cool. And by the way, I forgot to mention, we're matching t-shirts today.
Yes, it's from Amy.
Something fun. Yes. Love the yellow and the fun Doraemon. Okay, well, for me, I was born and raised in Canada, but more specifically, I was actually born in Montreal. So Canada is pretty big. We have Eastern Canada, and then I live in Western Canada now. So it's like a 6-hour flight from coast to coast. So I used to live back in Montreal for most of my life, actually 29 years before I moved here. So yeah, born and raised in Montreal, lived there for most of my life, and then I moved here to Vancouver. So that's our first question. Let's jump into the next one. Like I said, some of these are pretty strange questions, but it's really fun. What is your earliest memory that you have?
Okay, I'll go. I think this is the earliest memory, because it's so vivid in my mind. I remember going to kindergarten. I think I was maybe in my first year of kindergarten. It's probably maybe I was 4 or 5. And I remember it quite vividly that I was walking down the street where we were living in Kuala Lumpur. And I think that area is something like Taman Desa. So if you're in Malaysia, you know. Oh, no. Yeah, Taman Desa. And now there is that area is totally different. But I just remember it so vividly that I was going to kindergarten and I was so happy. I was so excited, and I was walking there with my grandfather. And I said, that's all I remember. And then I remember coming home and nothing else about kindergarten. That was just that one memory. It was so cute.
That is so funny that you say that, because my first memory is also about kindergarten. I guess maybe that's when we start retaining like we start remembering things, because anything before that, like when I was 2, 3, even
Nothing.
4, I don't remember anything that happened. So my earliest memory that I remember is having to like be really dressed, like, you know, bundled up because it's pretty cold. We used to take the yellow bus. We had to like walk to somewhere, wait for the yellow bus and get on the bus, and then it will take us to school. And I remember the outfit, but I don't know if it's because that outfit is part of my school picture, so maybe it's not my outfit. But there was another boy who was like a family friend, and he was in the same grade as me, and I was always told to follow him around because I guess he's a little bit more mature. Like, he's also really tall. I was like so little when I was younger. I was so short for a long time, and then I shot up in high school. But yeah, I just remember getting on the bus and having to follow that boy and going to school and coming back from school. And maybe it's a separate day, but like I remember that boy used to call my house to talk to me. And apparently he liked me, so like that's
a young boyfriend.
I remember, like, and I had no feelings because I'm like, whatever, I'm just in kindergarten. It's just that my mom, I think she told me that or something like that. I don't know. So yeah, that was my earliest memory, kindergarten as well. It's so funny. Okay, next question. What would you do if you won the lottery?
Oh my gosh. First thing I'll do is pay off my houses, like, and then spend it. Oh, well, no. I think I'll do like the mature thing, the grown up thing, you know, give some to the brother, give some to the mom, and then take all the money and then go on shopping, you know.
Oh my
God. Do the grown up thing.
Huh?
I say I'll do the grown up thing. Responsibilities first.
Agreed. But I would do totally the same thing. For me, more specifically, I would want to buy a house here in Vancouver because real estate here is just so crazy. And so that my parents can move from Montreal to here. I mean, I still have one brother that lives in Montreal, but I'm here, and then my other brother is here. So there's technically more people that live here now than in Montreal. So I would really want to move them here because as of right now, it's pretty much impossible, because even if they sold their house back in Montreal, they would only be able to buy half a condo here, which makes no sense. That's how different, I guess, the market is. So that would be the first thing I would do, like buy a house so that they can move here. And I want to go get my Birkin.
Go bish. Take the money.
Yeah, just take my money. Take my money. Yeah. And also travel. Like, I want to travel with my family.
Yeah, definitely.
So many things we can do. Honestly, what would you guys do if you won the lottery? We can all fantasize a little bit. Let us know in the live chat. Okay, next question. By the way, if you've been enjoying the Q&A session so far, hit that like button, okay?
Don't forget.
What would
Click
you
out
have
of the
done to
live
be
chat.
more productive, Kat?
Why don't you go first?
Oh, okay. Actually, I was pretty productive today because like I said, I usually, you know, I work and then I film and then I eat and then I come here. But I think if it would have been more productive if I woke up a little earlier, because I kind of woke up at 8, but I was kind of groggy and I didn't really want to wake up right then and there. And since, you know, just working from home, you don't have to wake up right away, right? So I just kept on sleeping. But if I did wake up earlier, I think I would have gotten more done. That's pretty much it. And I think, okay, maybe the other thing is if I did go for a walk, because I'm trying to go for a walk just in the neighborhood, not very far, just really in the neighborhood, in the streets that nobody really goes, for social distancing. I try to do that every day since it's getting colder and I'm really not moving around very much since I'm not going out either. And oh my gosh, with the winter, you're eating more. I just feel like I'm gaining weight. So I wish that I went out for a walk, but it was raining pretty hard, so I didn't do that. So that would have made it more productive. I would have felt more productive if I did go, despite the rain. What about you?
Well, it's Saturday morning for me today. And I guess it's the same answer. I wished I woke up earlier. I was awake. Okay, I was awake at 7 o'clock, but I wasn't out of bed. I was like, it's too early. It's too early. I still have time. 7 became 7:30. 7:30 became 8:30. 8:30 became 9:30. I was like,
Yeah, I know.
crap, I'm gonna get out of bed.
It's just one of those days I'm like, I don't know. I just don't want to wake up. But I've been feeling a lot of those days lately too, which is bad.
Not just today. Maybe what could you make every day more productive?
Yeah. Okay. Next. If you had to wear one item forever, what would it be?
As
Want me to
in,
go first?
I'm wondering what kind of question. Like, is this like an accessory item, or is it like
Up to
if you
you.
only I could answer it like I would wear, like if I had to wear one item. So accessory, right? Let's do accessories, right? Wow, this is tough. I guess for me, yeah.
You don't love enough things then to know the answer.
No,
Like that you
it's
must
more
have.
of I have too many things to choose.
Oh, right.
It was like, well, I wanted to say like my wedding band.
Mm.
Then in my head, I'm like, well, my mom gave me something else as well. I was like, if I wear my mom's thing, my husband will be angry. And if I wear my friend's thing, so I'm like, okay, I want to make sure everybody's,
Everyone's
attached
happy.
to me. So I can't really say one. I can't. It's so hard.
I know. But my first answer, like when I first read that question, my first thought was a dress. I just
Right.
that's how I've always felt since childhood. That's still how I feel. I wish I lived in a tropical climate so that I could just go out in a dress. Any dress, honestly, but I can just pick one of my favorite dress and I can wear that forever. Like that's how I feel. But a more like deep answer I would give would be confidence. If I can wear my confidence every single day, forever, that's what I would choose because, yeah, I think as long as you're confident, you can conquer the world.
True. True. Good answer.
But yeah, the wedding ring, like those things also I thought about. I'm like, oh yeah, the wedding ring, of course.
So many things. Yeah, so many things. One item forever.
Yes. Okay, good answer. I think I know the answer of this one for you. Which cartoon would you still watch?
Doraemon.
Yeah.
Dubbed in Malay.
We're wearing it today.
Because when I watched Doraemon, because I watched it when I was a kid, and until I grew up, every time I hear Doraemon speak any other language than Malay, Bahasa Malaysia, my first language, it sounds wrong. Like when Doraemon speaks Japanese, I'm like, this doesn't sound quite right in my ears. Because Doraemon spoke to me in Malay. Nobita, kenapa kawan Dada? It's dubbed so badly, but it's the right sound in my head, right? So the original obviously is Japanese, but Doraemon in cartoon, Malay, I will watch. So weird.
Yes. Well, I don't know Malay, and I didn't watch it in Japanese, or I haven't seen it in Japanese. I don't think we watched it in like dubbed
Canton.
in Hong Kong, so like in Cantonese. Really, really funny. They still do the high voice. Is that the cartoon that I would still watch? Yeah, I think so. There's also Lo Fuzi.
Oh, low Fuji. Yes.
How do you say Master Lo Fuzi is what? Master Q? Master Q?
I
Is
think
it?
it's Master Q.
That one's really fun too. Honestly, I think I watched it when I was younger, but I also watched it when I was like a little older too. And I still remember liking it. So I feel like I would like it still. Again, I watched it in like dubbed in Hong Kong Cantonese. So those would be the
Mm.
two. Yeah, really
That's one.
childhood, like grew up
Yeah.
with it type of thing. You would think that it would be a French show for me, but no. We hardly watched any TV. Anything that we watched were all the tapes, the VHS tapes that we
Oh my
used to
god,
rent.
yes.
That's how we get to watch the Doraemon, the Lofuzi, all kinds of like Hong Kong movies from like Zhao Xingqi, Hui Gungi, like all of those
Wow.
really funny actors from before. I mean, they're still around, but yeah, just the best. And Jackie Chan even. Okay, next question. What show do you wish would come back from your childhood?
Mm. If it's childhood, it'll most likely be like cartoons, right? So, I mean, that's kind of like how I think of it. I mean, I have some like TV series that I used to watch Japanese dubbed in Malay. There's this volleyball, like series. Like she's like a bunch of, I think they were like super volleyball players in Japanese, and they were like they had all these like weird moves. They could like flip around and they could hit the volleyball. I think that was fun. And then cartoons that I used to watch when I was young that I think they don't make anymore. Those really old kind of cartoons like Thundercats. What else? Thundercats was one. Those I think I would watch. I think those cartoons, if they come back, I would watch. But shows,
Is there enough more? I think I don't really have an answer for this, but I do remember watching like Bugs Bunny sometimes, or there was also the Flintstone, but I watched it in French, so it was the Pierre à Feu, and also the other one. What is it? Schtroumpf. So the
Smurfs?
I watched it in French, but in English it's the.
Is it Smurfs?
Those blue faces, and what are they called?
Smurfs?
Yeah, the Smurfs. So I think,
yes.
Yeah, I think for me, I really enjoy watching those. Like I didn't follow it every day or anything. It's just whenever it was on, and usually it's during my lunchtime. It's the Flintstone in French was on, so I would watch that while because I walk to school, right? I walk to school and I walk back home to eat lunch, and then I walk back to school. And so I always catch it when I get home, eat while I watch it, and then go back to school. And it was always the Flintstone at that time. And I just feel like it's very, like every time I hear the music, dun, 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 dun. So like every time I hear those, or even when I think about it, it's just very, very nostalgic. So not necessarily that I wish that they come back, but if I did see it, I'd be like, oh yeah, like that was like, my childhood basically. What would be your childhood cartoon or whatever show that you guys liked watching? So those were mine. Okay, next question. If you could have one talent, what would it be? That's a weird question. What about a talent that you don't have, or that? Oh no. Just answer it the way that you think that you interpret it.
I think if I had one talent, it would be to sing.
You can't sing?
I can't sing. Please don't bring me to karaoke. I would sing, but it doesn't mean I can sing. Okay, that's different. I'm like, ah!
You know what's funny? Because we're currently watching the show called Let See Your Voice, and it's hosted by Ken Jeong. It's literally just started, and it's like a game, and you can win money. So they would have 6 people that are lip syncing, and you have to guess if that person is singing in his like lip syncing to his real voice or lip syncing to a really good singer's voice, but they actually can't sing. And it's like the most hilarious thing because the ones that can't sing, like for me, when I hear it, I'm like, how could it be so bad? Like, how could it? And I even Googled like myself because I was interested. I was like wondering how can people not be able to sing? Apparently, they can't. It's like something about their vocal cords. They can't like
Control.
yeah, something like that. Or it could also be that they can't hear the distinction of the of like the difference, when it's sang. To me it makes no sense, but it's just so funny when yeah, I've been watching that show, and also like I had to know like how come some people can't sing, and apparently a lot of people cannot sing. And it's so funny that you say that.
I can't sing. You give me a I'm like, ah. And I think it's not because I can't hear it, because I am music. I play piano. It's not that I can't hear it. It's just that I can't hit the tone, like the various, like I can't control my vocal cords to go,
Yeah.
but it's not that I can't hear it, right? So it's just that. So that's that. At least I can hear it. I can go like I can hum the song, but it can't come out. So yeah, that would be my talent.
That is such a fun thing I didn't know about you. So for me, I thought of it more kind of like a fantasy talent. I thought if I could fly, that
would be good as well, right?
It's not really a talent, I guess. I think if I had a much better talent at negotiating,
I was thinking that too. Yeah.
Yeah, I would feel so good because I don't feel like I'm that good of a negotiator. I always feel like I have to please the other person instead. So yeah, maybe that has something to do with like more confidence too. Or maybe I just don't know how to negotiate. Not really good at negotiating. Anyway, so yeah, that would be what I would want to have more of. But I think you can learn to do it as well. Okay, next. What is the weird food combination that you do?
Weird. I looked at this. I was thinking, do I have any weird food? I don't have any people. No, I don't. I eat everything, and I don't have any that I like find it's weird. But when I hear it, like people will tell me, "Oh, you eat." To me, I won't eat it. There's one combination which is actually very common in Malaysia. It's if you all know what durian is, you either love durian or you hate durian. So if you love durian, apparently a lot of people eat durian with rice. They boil they boil the durian and then they put hot pot. It's all this weird. That is weird combinations to me. But I don't have any. Like, I don't think I do. I thought about it. Like, no.
I guess that's pretty good. I have never really had real durian. Yeah. It's not very common. It's like it's pretty hard. Well, it's not hard to get, but my parents never bought it. And I think even when I was in Singapore, the closest thing that I've had to actually not in Singapore, the closest thing that I've had to durian is like, when you go to dim sum, when you yum cha, they have the pastry
durian puffs.
Yeah, that's the closest thing that I've had to, which just tastes good. Like, that's not terrible. But I've never had real durian, and I would assume that durian and rice is a bit weird. Yeah. So that's a good answer. Well, I've never had it. So for me, I don't find it weird, but back then, and I used to do that with my best friend in high school. She moved to Australia since. We used to go to McDonald's after school, and she would order, and I guess she made me like that as well. She would order ice cream and French fries, and she would eat the French fries like dip the ice cream and eat it. The other combo that I like with French fries also is use the mayonnaise. So you ask, like when you order from McDonald's, you ask for the McChicken sauce. So it's like mayonnaise basically, right? And eat the French fries with that McChicken sauce. Some people find it weird, but it's so tasty. It's just more fat, basically.
I was thinking whether that was a weird combination, like French fries and ice cream, but actually, to me, that's not weird.
No,
no, because I do it as well.
Most people don't do it. I think that's why it's weird, isn't it?
Really?
I don't know. Some people find it weird.
See, I'm reading in the comments. They're like,
until I see my friend do that, I'm like, oh, it is actually really good.
Okay, would you rather eat or drink? Eat.
Same. Why drink it when you can eat it? In fact, I try to limit drinking calories because that way I can eat more. I feel like if you drink, let's say you buy a drink, and usually they cost like $5 to $10 because they're pretty expensive. That drink, you can eat like how many bags of chips? I don't know, like, or like a whole big rice plate of like with, all kinds of curries or whatever. Like, it's a lot of calories. I would rather eat it.
Totally agree. Eat it.
Okay. 5 things that make your average day better.
Okay, I don't know if it's 5, but an average day better. Okay, 1, for me is sleep. Like if I get an extra hour or extra half an hour of good sleep, my whole day is like. And second thing is a really good, like something a good cup of coffee. Sometimes I have like this cheap like McDonald's coffee. I'm like, okay, but when I have a good cup of coffee, like wow, it's a good day. It's a good day.
Totally agree.
Yeah, it's a good day. And what else? Oh, and then have a good meal, like a good meal. And it can be breakfast, it can be lunch, it can be dinner. You can have a shitty day, and then suddenly you have such a good dinner. It's like, it's a good day.
Amen.
It's a good day. It's a good day. And then what makes my average day? I think, okay, I was just thinking that for me, and I think also for Amy, sometimes when I get messages like on my Instagram from all of you, it could be anything. It'd be like, Kat, I saw this, thought of you. And, there was this one day, I think a lot of the Singapore folks were just attacking me with all these DMs like, you got to go to the National Museum. You have to go. And I got like 6 or 7 messages because everybody said that they saw Doraemon and they thought of me. And I was like, I'm so flattered. It doesn't only just make my days, like it makes like the whole week. I'm like, oh my God, people remember me. Doraemon. I got so many messages. So that's another one. And then I think another one would be like just getting my work done.
Feeling productive.
I never get my work done. Like I always have work, but somehow it just flows over maybe to the next day or late at night. But an average day, it's like that. But when I manage to be productive and I finish my work, it's just like, yeah, it's a good day. It's a good day. It's like a to-do list, right?
You pretty much like, okay, number 1, good sleep. You pretty much said it for me. Good coffee. I'm like, oh my gosh, there's no way I would survive without my Nespresso. Like just 1 capsule. It's just it's the regular original Nespresso, and if I don't have my 18% cream and at least 3 teaspoons of it, I usually use 4, but at least 3. No, it's not good.
Yeah.
So yeah, my coffee has to be like exactly the way I want it. What else did you say? It was also my
food.
Food, yes. Dinner for me is the big one. I can get by without breakfast because usually I eat. Usually I drink my coffee so slow. Like the coffee is this big, okay, because it's an espresso. But I drink it within like 2 hours because I sip it so slow. But I'm usually already like in front of my computer. I'm already doing, answering emails, whatever. And then that 2 hours while I'm having my coffee and like concentrating, like it passes by so quickly. So I don't even care about breakfast, but dinner, I must have a good dinner. If I don't have a good dinner, I cannot sleep well at night. I cannot
Mm.
fall asleep. Like if I'm hungry at night, I cannot fall asleep. That's how I am. And I would say that maybe to tie in with the food, I must have vegetables every day. Like I have to have
Yeah.
abundance. I know you are
Yeah.
too. Like I just feel like, maybe I can get by like 1 or 2 days without enough vegetables. Like, how sometimes you eat out or like you eat at a friend's house. Maybe it's like not the same. But more than that, my body just is like saying, "Go, Manga!" Like, like help me, please! Like, just give me the my nutrients. Chocolate is a big one for me as well. Dark chocolate.
Mm.
I eat it almost every day, I want to say, but yeah, like give me 70% chocolate. Like I don't eat it because of the sweetness. I eat it because of the chocolate and I crave it all the time. And apparently when
Mm.
you crave it all the time, it could also mean that you might be a bit deficient in magnesium and iron, which I am. But I also love chocolate.
Wow, I
Um,
didn't know that.
yeah. Like sometimes when you crave a certain food, it could just means that your body, it just wants to balance its nutrition, like the nutrients that you don't have enough of, like temporarily, because you eat different foods all the time, and sometimes your body just needs more of one thing because of something going on, but nothing serious. It's just yeah, and
What else?
oh, what you mentioned about the subbies is so true. Like, especially well, of course, when they think of me, but also when I get the message where they say, "Oh my gosh, thank you so much for a review. I
Mm.
was really helpful," and then they got it or something. Anytime I see that, I just feel like, oh, that's great because I've just helped another person realize that, that's what they needed in their life, or that's maybe like it helped them decide or something. Like it's just such a great feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah, when they give you like feedback. Um, you said feeling productive. I want to say that I always feel guilty because like I said, like you said, you always feel like you're not productive enough. I try, I guess. Uh, I think an average day would be better if I can FaceTime my nephew. I think I would
Yeah,
say.
yeah.
Like any average day, any day is average, but if I can FaceTime my nephew, it's extra special. That's my answer.
True. True.
Okay, next. Would you rather someone go through your phone, so like your messages and all that, or go through your internet history?
Phone.
Phone.
Phone. I've got
Oh,
nothing to hide.
for me, it's internet history. I don't have
Why?
anything to hide, but I don't want people to go through the phone
Oh, but it's text messages, right? It's text messages.
and all, like anything on your phone.
Oh, and all.
Yeah. I feel like I have more secrets in my phone.
I think I've got more secrets on the internet.
Oh, really? Such as
Because
what?
internet history, right? So we are including Facebook, messages in Facebook.
Oh, I was thinking like, they can go to your, like you go to your history tab and then they can see where you've been
Oh,
browsing.
you mean like that? I was thinking more
I
like my
think so.
internet
That's how I
history.
thought of it because I always log out. So it's not like they can log in even if they went on my browser. But if they were on my phone, and if assuming they can, like, they unlock the phone, right, then they can see everything, like the messages, your history,
so
your browser history is also on your phone.
true. But if it's internet history, I'm also assuming they have access to all your accounts, right?
And your passwords?
Yeah. So I'm going for like, if somebody has access to your phone history, text messages, or your internet history, so everything you do on the internet, which is worse.
Okay, you were thinking that way. Okay, no, I was thinking more like, because I'm usually pretty safe with my, like, every time I log in, I log out type of thing. Actually, that's not true. I don't log out of my WhatsApp because, like, it's so annoying to always have to, like, the WhatsApp web. It's so annoying to every time you have to rescan the barcode thing.
I'm just thinking of messages to ex-boyfriends.
What, you still do?
No, but
Okay.
I'm sure it's somewhere in the internet history,
Oh,
right?
right,
Internet
right.
history. So I'm sure it's floating around somewhere in some ICQ message.
It's so old. Can you even get those again?
Everything lives on the
That's
internet.
true.
Do you know
Everything
that?
is possible.
So go and take my phone. I clear it all the time. But internet, I'm like, damn it. Did I say something bad when I was like, a kid?
Okay, I see your point. Mm. Okay, I'll agree with you. But I guess,
If
yeah,
you're talking
neither.
about history, right? Extended
Yeah.
for life, it's actually, we don't know what we did when we were young and stupid.
Yeah, I have nothing to hide either, even on the internet. But it's true. Maybe there were some angry messages or some like
Something.
or some like, yeah, old boyfriends type of thing. Okay, next question. What are the 3 things you would do if you were stranded in a rainforest to ensure survival? Oh my gosh.
What are 3 things I would do? Quickly learn to climb a tree so that I can get coconuts.
I don't think there's coconuts in rainforest. Is there? Is there?
Um, find shelter for sure. For sure. Find shelter, right? I think find shelter. Get warm and find shelter is to get warm so that otherwise you die cold. Rainforest. I think I'll die in the rainforest. I can't even go camping.
It's funny because I watched the show
Survivor.
no, not Survivor, the other one, Naked and Afraid. So you have nothing. You're naked, you have no clothes. They give you a bag with 2 tools of your choice. So it can be a machete and, like, something else, and a map, and that's it. You're on your own. Well, sometimes you have a partner. And there's no way I will survive. Like, especially rainforests. It's so cold at night. It's so cold during the day because it's raining all the time. Like, rainforests is like there's all the shaded. It's all shaded, but by the high trees. I would die. I can't survive.
I'll take the machete. Like, okay, that's it. I'm done. I'm getting out of here. Next question. I'll die anyway. Because, okay, rainforest. Like, if in Malaysia there are tons of rainforest. I mean, it's tropical. It's tropical here. You go to any like mini jungle. I tell you, if you ask back, one of my oldest memories is seeing leeches drop from trees. They are dangling like this. And we were going like, oh, young, like, I think I was maybe like 12 or 11. No, I was thinking I was 11. I still have the picture. And we were all like so happy, young school kids, excited to go to the forest. And I was looking up, I was like, look at all those like sticks. They look like little brown rubber band sticks. I was like, look at them. And they're all like wiggling. And then they started to drop in front of like all my friends. I was like, what is that? Leeches were dropping from the trees. Okay.
They get inside your skin too, right?
Yeah. So
They go
they will
inside.
drop. They
Yeah.
drop because they're so light. You don't feel them, right? Or as you brush along the tree leaves, they'll just hang, and then they'll go like, and they'll stick into your body, and it'll just like. I don't I think I was lucky. I didn't get any, but a friend of mine got them all over her body, like her back, her ankles, and it was just
Oh my
yeah,
god.
rainforest machete.
Oh my gosh. I think for me, the 3 things you would do if I survive, I would, yeah, like you said, create my shelter. I don't even know how I would do that. I have no strength whatsoever. Number 2, I have to find food, but apparently it's pretty hard in the rainforest. Number 3,
water.
Yes. Water first, actually. Water and then food. Yeah. But at least water is not that hard in a rainforest. You can make use those leaves and make a little container and let the rain fall in it. And you have water. Okay. Like I said, very unusual questions. It will never happen. Okay, next. If only you and one other person were the last human being alive, who would you want the other person to be?
My mom.
Good answer.
Mommy, I'm hungry.
Me too. It would be my mom. But I feel like it's one of those questions that it's going to piss off everyone else if you don't say that.
Right, so you better say your mom.
Not your husband, nobody. Nope. Mom. Okay, next.
We can answer them silly, but yeah, that's true. I think if alive, my mom would be the one.
Yeah, because your mom always looks after you. She's always puts you before her, and yeah, it's just there's no way anybody else can be that. If you had to choose never to use Instagram or YouTube, which one would you let go?
Let go. Instagram.
Same. Easy.
I
watch YouTube every day. I started watching just the news even on YouTube because it's so easy. They cut out all the commercial, the TV commercials. I mean, there's still ads because apparently, if you guys don't know, YouTube has started even on channels that are not monetized, or even on videos that are not monetized, they put ads now. Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's one of the changes that they did because they figure, well, even if you're not monetized, they can still put ads. It's just that you don't earn that money. But you still have to watch the ad. So everybody has to watch the ad, and nobody has an excuse to complain about having too many ads now because YouTube now puts it on everything. So it doesn't matter what it is. They will put ads whether you earn the money or not. That's one of the new changes that happened recently. Okay, if you had to choose, how would you want to get famous?
Through my one talent, singing. Because when I was thinking of that talent, I was thinking, I think singing will make me money.
Or you can go to that show that I was talking about and be one of the singers that cannot sing and still be famous. Well, actually, I don't know if you get famous, but it's really hilarious. Yeah, I haven't thought about this one.
How would you want to get
Okay,
famous?
I've always kind of wanted to be that when I was younger. How to be famous is to either be famous because I'm an actual runway model. That's one way that I always dreamed of, always fantasized about, or become Miss Hong Kong or something like that. I know it's very feminine, but those were the things I always like fantasize as a kid. Okay, yes, I said it. It didn't happen. Nothing happened. Okay, next. Which languages do you speak?
Oh, okay. I speak 2 languages and 1 dialect. So I speak English, Bahasa Malaysia, Malay, and I speak Cantonese, a little, a little bit of Cantonese because of my grandparents. Yeah, those are the 3.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a lot. That makes you trilingual. English, but I actually spoke. So my mother tongue is Cantonese, which is a dialect, a Chinese dialect, and I learned French first. Obviously, I speak English now, and I know a little bit of Mandarin. So it's another dialect, another Chinese dialect, which is the official dialect of the Chinese language. So you could say
4.
2 languages and 2 dialect.
Nice,
I
nice.
understand my father's dialect too, which is Toisanwa.
Mm.
I understand very little of it, like, but enough to know, like, because I used to work at the banks, and a lot of times there's like those older akong apo, they would come in and like they would want to withdraw money or whatever, or ask you a question, and they would speak in the dialect, and enough to understand that, so enough to serve people in in my work environment. Okay, which languages do you wish you could speak?
Japanese.
Oh, that's a
I
good one.
Yeah, I tried to learn it. And I was doing quite well, but then the issue with learning Japanese, a language, actually not just Japanese, any language, is you actually need to commit time. Like the Japanese language that I was learning was quite hardcore. It was like with homework, writing and learning, and I was so much homework every single week. It was quite intense. And you have to keep up with the homework, otherwise you will be left behind for the next week's class. So after about 1 semester, I was like, okay, I can't, because with work, with studying language and kind of practicing, because it's quite challenging if you're not language inclined, like you don't really know. So yeah, but one day I'm going to pick it up again for real. So yes, I definitely want to speak Japanese.
Well, if you were to go to Japan now, let's say, can you kind of get by? Even if you just understand here and there.
No, not enough. Not even after 6 months.
Mm.
It's maybe that time at those 6 months, I could look at the characters and like, oh, that is something, something, something. But I can form the word, but I don't understand. I don't know what it is.
Right, right, right. Okay. For me, I kind of had 2 choices. I was gonna say Spanish because I feel like, so there's English, there's French, but I feel like Spanish it would make you really well-rounded. Like you could literally get by anywhere you go almost. Almost, because like I don't want to, like, Italian is completely different from Spanish, but like it just feels that you could get by and understand more people, especially because I think in the States there's a lot of Hispanic, and in Europe, if you go to Spain, or like even a lot of the countries around there, there's just a lot of Spanish everywhere. But that's more of a practical, more of a practical sort of language that I feel like if I knew, but it's not really a language that I like you said, I would really take the time to learn it. If I would really want to take the time to learn Korean, actually, because I love
Mm.
watching Korean
K
dramas.
dramas.
Yeah. And of course now I have to read the subtitles all the time, and because I watch so much that I already picked up, like, words, like
Mm.
I just know what they mean now, but not enough to understand the whole thing without really reading the subtitles. So yeah. And plus, when I was in Korea, I went to Korea. I went to Korea and I went to Japan too, but both of these countries, yeah, like if you try to ask for direction or ask questions to the residents, they really have a lot of trouble understanding English. Like they either know a little bit, or they know it, or they don't know it. And when they don't know it, it's like you cannot even get by anywhere. That's how I felt. Yeah.
That's how I felt with the Tokyo when I was there. But this is many years ago, and I went to Seoul as well. Many 10 over years ago. I was walking around like in Myeongdong, and I couldn't get directions because a lot of people didn't speak. But maybe more than 10 years ago, maybe 15 years ago. But now when you go, actually, especially Tokyo, because of the recent Olympics, the preparation, there's so much English. I kind of feel like there's no challenge anymore. It's like it's there because I can see everything's in English. There's Japanese English. There's so much. It's so good now. You can get around, and a lot of the young, I would say maybe the older folks would be the ones that cannot speak, but most of the people now can speak, even in Korea. So I don't know. I kind of kind of miss the challenge of. Wait. Chotomate.
Yeah. Okay, next question. What country do you wish you were from? If it was in Malaysia, let's say.
Which country do I wish I was from?
Weird question, but yeah.
It's a trick. Okay, fantasizing. Maybe I do like Japan. I really do. Maybe I should have been born there.
So for me, I used to because I think my mom, she's been here since she got married, right? She got married in Hong Kong and then moved here right away. And then I remember like growing up, even now, she would still say, "Oh, back in Hong Kong, like the food is so good, this and that." And I always thought, especially growing up, I'm like, then why didn't you stay there? Like, why didn't you let us be born there instead? Like, it almost sounded like of course she's very nostalgic, and and then we have like very little family here, like not that many people around us. So I didn't grow up with relatives or anything that we visited often or anything. Like it's always pretty much our own immediate family. So I always felt like, oh, what if I was born in Hong Kong? Then my whole family would be around all the time. And that's how it is every time we go back. There's always gatherings, and it's just such a different feeling. On the other hand, I would have to say, because I'm so used to being like alone and just me and the few people that are around me, sometimes I get overwhelmed when there's too many people. Especially when everyone has an opinion of how things should be, like, especially when it's like when you kind of start to disagree. So it's I guess it's another aspect of not liking, you kind of want the best of both worlds in a way. Yeah. So that would be one answer that I wish I was, maybe if my mom or my parents stayed in Hong Kong, that maybe I grew up there. But I think if I had to give an answer without looking at that part of my memory, it would be to be from Australia. It's just yes, I love, like I said, I love a good tropical. I know it still gets cold in the winter, but it's still not as cold as here. Like you don't get like the -20, -30, like where I grew up, -30, -40 degree Celsius type of temperature in the winters. Like we don't have 6 months long winters. There's like beaches everywhere. It's like I just loved spending time there whenever I visited my best friend. So I almost moved there. Like I applied for a work visa and almost moved there. Like that's how much I wanted to be, at least experience part of my life there. So I think that would be my answer.
Yeah. I have hard time answering this because for me, it's like I never wanted to be anywhere but Malaysia. Like, I love Malaysia. I love Singapore because I've been here for almost 10 years. And that's work. But I don't know, maybe because I love food.
That's true.
And everything in Malaysia is so yummy.
Yeah.
So,
You have to
that's,
take me to like your best
oh
places.
man, we're
If
going everywhere.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
by the end of it, you'll be like, I can't wear my Balmain skirt anymore.
that's true. Oh goodness.
Wow.
Okay, next question. If you had a time machine, would you rather go back in time or into the future?
Back in time, baby. Made a lot
Where
of
would you go
mistakes.
back to?
So
What?
stupid. No, I say made a lot of mistakes that we need to fix.
Oh,
Young and stupid. It's called Young and Stupid. Don't care. It will fix the future.
yeah, this is kind of a weird question for me because I always think like no regrets, and I almost feel like I'd rather be in the future knowing or hoping that you've learned from all the mistakes and that you would know what to do in the future. So I almost don't know how to answer this except maybe say into the future, I suppose. And plus there was like this darker time. Like a whole decade of darker time for me. Like it was more health wise, but I don't want to go back to those
Yeah, no,
times.
that's why I was thinking more of like I go back to the past and fix that shit. Like, no way that's gonna happen because everything is like a turning point, right? If you did this could happen. This, I'm like, okay. Let's redo this. Let's redo this. Future could be very different, but it's okay. Fix all
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Oh well. Not everything is fixable though.
True. Yeah, true.
Okay, what is your usual bedtime?
My usual bedtime is 11:30. That's called bedtime. But when I sleep time, it ranges between 11:30 to 3.
That is so funny. I'm worse than you. I thought that yours. I thought 11:30. I'm like, wow, you're so good. But then I'm like, I remember it. I'm like, sometimes you didn't really sleep at 11:30.
I'm in bed. The one is I'm in bed. I'm sitting there going like that, like, oh my god, I'm so tired. Then the phone.
True, me too. Oh, it's so bad. Like I'm telling you, this whole ever since the phone, like smartphones, it's been you're in bed, but you're still watching whatever or reading something. So true. For me, I don't have a usual bedtime. That's how bad it is. Like I think on average right now, maybe like 2 or 3 a.m.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, and if I was really good that day, like 1 a.m. But yeah, I don't have a usual, which is why I've always struggled with it's something that I've always struggled since as early as high school. I slept really late because I always stayed up to be with my mom because she was always working night and day, and I just want to stay up. I just want to be with her, like even though I'm not necessarily helping her or doing anything, I just want to be like beside her. And it became a bad habit, and I'm not blaming her. It's just that I also like staying late. And I've always been more of a night owl than anything, which is why I'm not a morning person. But at night I can accomplish so much. I like my mind is so like, oh, I can like start writing an essay or something. Like I literally at night is when I feel like more productive.
Same,
I think you're a little bit like that too.
Same. It's like everything starts at 9 o'clock.
Yeah. Okay, what do you remember to be the worst day you've ever had? Oh my gosh, do I really want to share that?
Worst. What do you remember to be the worst day? I don't really remember any worst day. Oh, well,
That's
there's so
good.
many, right? Because every different thing is people pass on. That's a worst day. Something maybe more frivolous, like boyfriend break up with me. I know when my boyfriend cheated on me. It's one of my worst days. Telling you, man.
Oh, that is, yeah. I always joke around before, but I kind of mean it. I always like would tell my exes, I'm like, if you ever think about cheating, like I'm gonna snip it. Obviously, it's never gonna happen, but like, that's half joking, like that's how, like, basically you don't get a second chance. That's what I mean, you know?
Yeah. I found one. I got one. Like, broke my heart. I mean, that was
Who's
young.
that? Who's it? I'm gonna bring a big machete.
From
Okay.
the jungle that we used to survive.
In the rainforest. Okay, mine is a little bit it's tied to my health again. I've mentioned it in passing in maybe some videos. It was literally when I was actually in Japan traveling with my brother and my ex at the time, and it was literally when I was in Japan that I started getting my first symptoms of
Mm.
lupus. And of course I had no idea what was happening to me. I just knew that I was aching everywhere, like every joint in my body was aching. I had sausage finger. I had my ankles were swollen so big that I couldn't put my shoes on. I couldn't fall asleep because all my shoulders and all my joints were aching, and it was just so much inflammation. It was like the worst. It's not just the worst day; it's the worst trip of my life. Because not only was I not at home, so I couldn't go see the doctor, meaning I couldn't get treatments. Like even if I went to a clinic, say in Japan, what could they do? Like they could give me aspirin, that's it, right? To calm down the inflammation. But to diagnose lupus took like 6 months, even when I came back to Canada. And it's just like, oh, nightmare. Which is why I don't want to go back to the past, because I didn't want to go back to those terrible years of my lowest, for me, health wise, my lowest in point, because it not only affected me physically, but it affected my work. It affected my, um, like everyday things, like waking up, brushing your teeth, getting dressed. All those things were near impossible. Like we take all those things for granted now, like, just to even be able to walk or get up from your bed. That's how bad it is when you're disabled. Like you can't do any of those things and you're miserable. So yeah, that would be my worst day ever when it first started, and then many days after that. Okay, what is your irrational fear that you have as a child? You had as a child?
We were talking about this, remember?
Yeah.
So this is something that I don't remember. Personally, I don't. But apparently, my parents and my grandma and my granddad told me that when I was young, I was afraid of the moon. When it was at night and I would go out, they will bring me outside, because if I don't want to sleep, they would just bring me outside and say, Ame, look at the moon. And I would start crying for whatever reason, and then I will go to sleep. So it's like some kind of thing that they do, like bring her outside. She'll sleep. I have no recollection of being afraid of the moon. I had no idea. This is the weirdest thing that they told me. We're like, yeah, you were afraid of the moon. I'm like, why?
It's so cute though. It's cute. I say that because like I think my nephew has some irrational fears too. At first, he was afraid of the printer, because every time the printer goes on, like print something, it would make like, the noise. It would make the, the warm up noise and all those things. And he's like so scared of it. And now he's grown out of it. He actually loves printers and all kinds of gadgets. But like, yeah, when you're a kid, you have all those irrational things that you don't know why you're scared. Like it makes no sense.
It makes no sense.
Yeah. Yeah, so we were kind of looking at this question when we first found this questionnaire, and then I told Kat that one of the things as a child that it's not super irrational, because it's almost like because I believed it in a little bit. So I grew up watching a lot of Chinese movies, right? Like I said, Hong Kong movies, and a lot of those movies is ghost movies, especially the, how do you say currency? Like the
Vampires.
Yeah, vampire, but like Chinese vampire, the ones that, that jump, that jump when they move. Like they jump and they kind of like, like
They come towards
how they move. So I always sort of believed in ghosts a little bit, and I always was taught, or at least was told by my mom, maybe not taught, but like, because I'm sure she lied about many things just to make us behave. One of the things that she would say to us is be a good person, or just be a good girl, good boy, because otherwise, the spirits can come and get you, or something like. Or she would say something like, oh, why are you scared? Like, you have nothing to be scared if you were a good girl or a good boy. So that's something that I always felt like, because I believed in it a little bit. So, once in a while when I'm alone, or if I'm like waking up in the middle of the night, going to the washroom and it's dark in the corridor, you kind of see shadows, right? Like sometimes you see objects that had a shadow and you think, oh no, is that like a ghost or something? So it's a little bit irrational, but rational because I believed in it. So yeah.
It's true.
That's
true.
That was one of those things. Okay. Have you ever conquered a fear of yours?
I think, well, so many fears, right? Fear of leeches, fear of heights, fear of somebody, such a chicken. But I think one of my fears that I think I semi-conquered is, in a way, public speaking. Like when it comes to work presentations and all, actually I'm still, nervous. Well, of course, one of the ways is to be very prepared. But one of the ways that I have sort of conquered it is through my teaching of gym classes. Because as an instructor, I have to be on stage. And being on stage, you have to present. And you have to present the class, you have to do the class. And I think because of this challenge that I tried for myself, I feel like I have conquered stage fright a little bit. I'm not so afraid to stand up and go in front and just talk anymore. I'm quite comfortable talking as long as I know what I'm talking about. But I'm quite comfortable being in front of people now.
Wow, that is amazing. I don't know if I've conquered, like, I know what you mean by public speech, especially because, yeah, anytime there's presentation or when my brother and sister-in-law asked me to be MC, the very first time and only time in my life, I was like, what? I did it, but like, it was just, I don't think I've conquered it. I would still be so nervous, and I think I've only gotten better because YouTube helps me too. Even live streaming helps me because you're live, right? And but honestly speaking, like I rewatch every single one of our lives. Sometimes not right away, but like I still rewatch it. And before I watch it, I cringe already. Like I cringe at what I remembered saying. But it's funny because when I rewatch it, I'm like, it wasn't that bad. I'm like, whatever. You're like so hard on yourself like that. Tell me that, right? A fear that I've conquered is not as serious as yours. It's more like I've always loved the idea of the amusement park, like the really thrilling rides.
Roller coasters?
Yeah, the roller coasters, or even the one that just goes like up and down like that. And as a child, I was always really afraid of those. But for some reason, as I was as I got older, and especially in high school, because back in high school, maybe it was like collab with our school, they would sell the season pass for a better price if you're a student of that school. And so I bought the season pass, and you're not gonna buy it if you're not gonna use it, right? And just go on a kiddie ride. So I started going on, like, I just literally just went on the rides and just started riding them a lot. And I became like, I love going on rides now. I don't think that I'm completely not scared, but I love it when it's done, I guess. Yeah, I always still get a bit nervous when I'm on it, but like while I'm on it, you get super scared, or you get also all the endorphins and adrenaline, but then when it's done, you're like glad that you went, and then you want to go back right away. That's that type of thing. Yeah. It's kind of silly, which leads us to our next question. What is something silly you believed as a child?
Wow, this I didn't remember this. What did I say? What was I thinking of the time? Silly that I believed as a child. You go first. I cannot remember.
I think I already kind of said it, like believing in vampires and ghosts. That's definitely one thing that I believed in. But also knew logically that it was not real, because that's how I play mind tricks with myself, especially when I'm watching a movie, right? Even nowadays, if it's like a really sad ending, or if it was like very scary, if you were really present in a movie, you would literally get scared or really sad because you're so in it. But I also have this logical side of me where I tell myself, I'm like, whatever, it's just a movie. It's just a movie. It's just a movie. Then I get not scared, or I get less emotional that way. And I was like that even when I was a child, even though I did believe in it, but I was still told myself, I'm like, whatever, it's not real. It's not real.
I don't have any silly, like everything that I think that is, I believe today, like today, is probably stems from what I believed in as a child, and I probably continued it as well. One of the things, I think one of my videos as well, I said about one of those get to know me videos long ago. I said I'm very superstitious, and I think I'm excessively as well, not just ghosts. Like I believe in taboos, like things that you shouldn't do. It actually started from a child, and then now I still do it. Things like if certain numbers I don't like, I will do all kinds of things to avoid it.
Oh, I still do it. Like, if I can avoid number 4, I would never use it. Yeah. Or get a number, like your phone number with a number 4 in it, or your address with a number 4 in it, like all those things. That stays with you all the time,
Silly things. I don't
But
know.
anything that maybe your parents told you growing up just to make you behave, that is completely not even true, silly, but you still do it.
Okay. Maybe there's one. Okay, there's one. I'm trying to think of something that my mom probably lied to me. It has something to do with food, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, me too.
The one that I remember is things like if you eat the grapes, eat the apple seeds, start growing it in your stomach.
You're supposed to eat it?
No, you're not supposed to eat the seeds.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it will grow in your stomach and you'll grow an apple tree.
Okay, yeah. So that's definitely something, yes.
Something silly. I'm like, don't eat the seeds, huh? Don't eat the seeds, okay?
So for us, it was I think, I don't know why my mom always tells us, but we were never allowed to drink while we eat. Drink anything, water, milk, whatever, juice, it doesn't matter. We were not allowed to have a drink while we're eating. I don't know why.
And you believed it.
We were not allowed, so we had to believe it. And so to this day, I would either drink before or I drink after I eat. I don't drink in between. Like, I don't drink while I'm eating.
I can think of those weird stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, there's another one. There's another one. Okay, I'm trying to think of those silly things that I wonder whether they do hold any truth to it. He said that you cannot, okay, don't drink, don't take too much soya sauce, otherwise your scars will heal dark.
Oh.
I swear, I have no idea where the scientific logic is in this, but when I get cut, I don't take too much soya sauce. just in case they start to heal a little dark.
I
Thanks,
have to look
Mom.
this up now. I always, I kind of, I give the benefit of the doubt to my parents, but like so many things that my mom would tell us just so that we don't do it as a kid. And half of it is so not true. But some of them might be, right? You just don't know. So the soy sauce thing, I have to look it up now. Okay, what did you want to be when you were a kid?
Like, do I want to grow up to be something, right?
Yeah.
I wanted to grow up to be an architect.
Ooh. Like for buildings?
Buildings. It's because my family, my father is an engineer. Then my brothers both started to study engineering, and I was the only girl. I'm like, I'm gonna study engineering. I'm gonna be an architect. No, that didn't happen. Of course, that totally didn't happen at all.
So instead, you studied IT?
I studied. I am a business economics student.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah. I didn't do anything like that. Physics was so difficult, and I gave up.
Okay, so for me, it's nothing like that. As long as I remembered, I always wanted to become a teacher. And I think the reason why I thought of that before is because, like I said, I had to learn French, right? And my parents didn't speak French, so it was very difficult for me to like grade 1, like I don't remember anything from kindergarten, but like especially grade 1 when school is starting to get more serious because you're in grade school now. You're always behind because you don't know what is going on. You don't know what the teacher is saying. Like it's just one of those things. And I don't really remember that, to be honest, but I do remember my mom, because they have parent teacher meetings, and they would tell my mom that I'm not following, I'm like those things, and that my parents need to teach me French at home, but they're like, how am I supposed to teach her French when I don't even know French? Like even when they communicate with the teacher, she's communicating with the teacher in broken English. And then of course the teacher's English is also very poor because they were predominantly French speaking, and so it's just one of those situations where I wanted to become a teacher because when I transferred, because I was in another school before, and then I transferred to another school that was a bit more like the teachers and even the school was a bit more compassionate. Like they literally they took the time to really teach the students that have difficulties. Like they would actually take them out of it's kind of like French. It's not the ESL, but it's like FSL basically. Like they took out the students that had a bit more difficulty and then really tutored them but during classroom time, but outside of the classroom in a smaller group setting. And literally because of that, like just in that half a year in grade 1, I was able to integrate with like everybody else ever since. And I just remember having like those teachers were so good and compassionate and so like patient that I was able to learn the language, even though like, I mean, there was no other way. Like my parents didn't know French, and there's no other way for me to learn it. So it was one of those things that really, and even every other teacher after that, even if it was like the regular classes throughout grade school, all the teachers just were so great. Like they were so patient, and they were so encouraging. And of course, I was also very competitive, even though I started with like minus everybody else. Like everybody else knew a bit already from speaking at home or whatever. But it's just one of those things that kind of gave me the
Drive.
yeah, to want to become a teacher, to help others as well. So yeah, but that's kind of silly. It's just something that I wanted to be as a kid. I never really knew what I wanted to be as a kid, but
Yeah, nobody knows. Nobody knows.
yeah, I didn't have those like big dreams and no like nothing serious like that. Okay, if the kid version of you were to meet you now, how would they react? It's a weird question.
Yeah. They'll probably ask me like, aren't you rich by now? No, I'm sorry, no. I don't know. I think as a kid version of me, like for you as well, I guess you're saying you're quite competitive. When I was a kid version, I was very competitive. Like also with my brothers in school, it was always like getting the A's, getting the top stuff like that. So if that version were to meet this version now, she'll be pretty disappointed. She'd be like, girl, you didn't finish your work last night?
So you would be pretty stringent and like severe.
She will give me a whipping. She'll be like, what happened? What happened? When you get so lazy? Yeah. That version was a very competitive, very quite hard on herself, like that version. So more she'll be asking me all these hard questions like, what's your job? What are you doing now? What's your money? Like, sorry. Sorry, kid.
Actually, I was competitive, but only with myself because I was hard on myself. I think how I would react is I would just want to learn from me. Like, what did you learn so far in life? Like, teach me teach me to become not a softie, because I was always like a softie, was gullible. I was hard on myself because I always wanted to be better. And yeah, I guess, yeah, I don't know how I would react, honestly. I just want to play.
You're totally opposite, you know? Like the me now is more chill and more like, you know, more afraid of stuff, like because there's more concerns. But the younger me, she was a nightmare, okay? She was rebellious and competitive and really like almost a thrill seeker. Like she'll do a lot of things, like just go, like really go getter. Like don't think about it, just do it first and then figure it out. And just now this version is like, you sure? Not really sure.
You're a more balanced version of yourself now.
True. But if I could keep, if one thing is, if I could go and talk to her, I say, hey, what was it that was driving you? Can I get some back? Because she's chilled out. She's chilled out. Like the version has chilled out, and like you said, balance. That maybe the right word, but balance. But there was this drive that I remember I had when I was young. Maybe excessive. There was, like you said, being hard on yourself, right? So that version met me now. She would be kind of disappointed. Hello, you're so slow. Hello, wake up. You know, I'm like, okay, get out of my face.
No, I think you're more balanced. Maybe you're too hard on yourself before too. I think so. Okay, I just noticed that we're like literally an hour and a half, so I'm gonna speed up for the last few questions.
Right.
I'm gonna take your questions too. Okay, would you say that you're more of an English brain or a math brain?
Okay, we'll answer it. Math brain.
Me too. Because language, it's not like hard, but it's not like easy.
True.
Yeah, I would say the same. Okay, next. What was the last movie you watched? Okay, that's boring. Can you even remember the last
just
movie
recently I watched Mulan.
Ah, okay.
And it was
It was a war movie. I don't remember the name because I'm terrible with names. I think I mentioned that before. I would watch all kinds of shows, all kinds of movies, all kinds of shows that would have like talked about the names of the celebrities, but then I forget. I don't know their names. I don't know the names of the titles of the songs. I don't know the lyrics. I just like to to them, or I just remember from like picture memory, but no, I don't remember. I don't remember. I'm so sorry. What was the last movie that made you cry?
None. Such a hard hit. No, I don't. I actually don't remember. Probably there was, but I just don't remember at all.
Yeah, it's been a long time for me. It's The Notebook. That's been a while ago too. Like years ago. Okay, have you ever been so happy that you cried? No, these questions are getting redundant. Okay.
This one we talked about that day, right?
Yeah.
So we agree that this is more of like you have to. It has like I've never been like this, like so happy, like ha, that I started to cry. I don't have that. I've never done that, but I can imagine being so happy that I cried if I.
Are you still here? Because like you literally froze for a whole minute and I don't know what happened. Maybe it's my connection, but okay. You said what you said, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I guess for me, yeah, I told you too last time. It was not really not really something that I was so happy that made me cry, but more like uh really grateful. I was so grateful and overwhelmed that I cried because yeah, it was like it was on my wedding day, and then when I was dancing with my brother, I was hugging him too. I just bawled because I was just so grateful of having my brother. Like I said, I went through many years of hardship due to health, and I was I moved all the way here to Vancouver, and I was by myself. And my brother decided to move to Vancouver a year later, just to have an eye on, like, just to watch me, just to have an eye on me. But you know, he still had to sacrifice quite a bit. Like he had to leave his job there, like leave everyone there, his friends and everything, just to come here. Obviously, I told him, I said, you know, only come here if you really wanted to come here, not because of me. But obviously, he also came here because of me. Um, you know, he loved Vancouver too when he visited and everything. He also liked Vancouver enough to want to move here, but I'm pretty sure I was one of the reasons why that I pushed him to come here as well. And I'm just so grateful that I have him here, which is why I cried. And I like even right now I'm thinking about it, like I just want to cry because I'm just so grateful for him. Okay, so Kat, I think I'm gonna stop here because it's just getting ridiculous. We already spent an hour and a half.
All right. Let's take a look at theirs.
So let me go through some comments. So how
We
did
hope
you
you've been
guys
answering the questions while we are answering them as well, because it's kind of fun. Like, just to think back, like,
Yes. Okay. Tanya, what is your dream bag apart from your Birkin? By the way, from MS Lovers. For MS Lovers in Hong Kong, there's a bag making demo in TST shop. The artisans finished 2 Kellys yesterday. Wow.
oh, wow.
Apart from your Birkin, what is your dream bag? I don't know if it's my dream bag necessarily, but I mentioned it to Kat too. I said, oh, if they offered me a Kelly 28 in retourné, I only want in retourné. I don't want it in the Cellier. I will not say no. For some reason, because it's the retourné shape, which is a bit more laxed and a bit smaller, less structured, and the leather is usually not Epsom, it's like a more slouchy leather, the look appeals to me. And because the Kelly is a bit more it's slimmer, right? Slimmer than the Birkin. So 28 is still a pretty good size, I feel. So yeah, I told you that, but you know, I still want the Birkin 25 more, but yeah, that would be another dream bag, I suppose. What about you?
I don't have one. I do not, the dream bag is the Birkin. The Birkin.
So maybe the classic flap then for you.
Maybe,
No?
maybe. If I
Maybe?
had to, like, if you had to choose one, yeah, maybe I'll pick a classic flap. Yeah.
I actually would want a classic flap. It's just that I don't get it because I'm too logical. Because it's just like, I mean, I cannot make myself spend $10,000 on a classic flap anymore, right?
True. If we won the lottery, we'll be okay.
Okay, Shanna, at what age did you start your luxury journey?
I think for this question, I'm gonna answer it in from starting from LV or any of the brands, not Coach. Because if you include Coach as a luxury journey, because it is expensive as well. For me, it was like maybe 15, because that's when I started to dabble into like Coach and all. But LV and all, I think it was like around when I started to work properly, maybe around 20, I think it was 23 or 24. Yeah.
Okay, so me, it was a little later. I always loved buying clothes and like styling things, but it was always like, you know, the cheap stuff. It's just cheap as in like things that I could afford at the time, which was just with my, you know, summer salary, summer job. Officially in Coach, I started around when I graduated. So 2004, that would make me 23. So 20, maybe 22, 23. And then LV, Chanel, and all those others was 2008. So I was 27. Yeah, pretty late. It's basically when I was making real money. Anytime before that, it was all just like, you know, buying stuff because I always loved clothes, but it was like, you know, things from the local shopping mall, boutique, things like that. I'm reading through these comments like, oh, someone said, wait, I just passed it about the coffee and ice cream.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. Yes, black coffee, green and black 70%. Yeah, so good. But honestly, I love any dark chocolate as long as it's at least 70% and not the ones that have too much sweetener added, because I really don't mind just eating the chocolate. I even eat 80% chocolate, 85% chocolate sometimes. But
Wow, that's really bitter. Like,
yeah, but you only need one square in that case. Like you eat one and you're so satisfied. But it's not my favorite. Like my favorite would be the 70% because then I can eat the whole bar and only feel a little guilty because I ate the whole thing. But I just enjoyed it so much, right? Oh. What is your occupation? What would be your dream career?
you know,
We're
every
both in
time somebody asks me
IT.
what's my dream career,
Yeah.
I always laugh at this because, you know, who wants to work? But
I
okay,
know.
my occupation. Okay, I work in IT, and I work in an IT company, but I do projects. I'm not IT centric though, so it's a little bit more like a project manager, business manager kind of thing. But my dream job and a dream career would be a tai.
Would be what? Oh, Tai. Okay. Yes.
Go and Google that. Tai tai.
Oh, that's nice. For me, okay, so I'm in IT as well. I did all kinds of IT work. I started off with uh, software engineering, so writing code and stuff like that. And then I did a bit of QA, and then Q&A, and then I did a bit of consulting, and then project management as well. Dream job, I always wanted to be either one, either interior designer or fashion designer. It's a dream job, but it doesn't mean that it's easy, because those are pretty cutthroat like industries to be in, especially in fashion, I feel. But I was serious enough that I actually went, I went and grabbed like the college application for, because you have to go to special fashion school for those. And those are not funded by the government. And so you would have to pay out of pocket. And I tried asking my mom. Obviously, I already knew the answer. We didn't even have the means to do it, to make me go through that kind of school anyways. But I still asked. She said no. So I went to regular college, regular university, Ah, so sad.
You got
Anyway.
a super chat. You got a super chat.
Oh, thank you. Yes, I see it. Okay, let me go. Thank you, Chris.
Chris, thank
you so much. Okay, now I have to go back all the way up. Okay, greetings from the US. Which location would you prefer if you had a choice, not factoring in family, job, etc.? For Amy, Montreal or Vancouver. For Kat, Singapore or Malaysia.
Wow.
I like Vancouver, so I would say Vancouver.
Yeah, not factoring from family and job. I think Singapore, if I don't factor my family in. Like, because of my family, and I do love Malaysia, I would say Malaysia, but if I could bring everybody here, I think Singapore would be a good place. It's safe. It's safe.
Yeah, I agree. I loved Singapore when I visited. I say Vancouver too because the weather is milder. The West Coast is also more like, they're more like health oriented. Like everyone's into yoga, everyone's into some sort of activity. Not that they are not in the Eastern Canada, but I just feel like it's more like we're more closer to like how California is, versus in the Eastern Canada, they're more closer to how like Toronto and New York is. Like it's kind of a little different, the vibe. Okay, Maria, best city for luxury shopping: London, Paris, Tokyo, Singapore, or other? I wish I knew the answer.
Wouldn't it be Paris?
I think Paris is good, especially because they have our favorite brands there. But I want to say Hong Kong is actually like,
yeah, true.
I mean, Hong Kong has everything. Clara lives there, and I always hear her expeditions and like all the. I mean, okay, just for Chanel, okay, they have how many stores there? I'm like, we have the one here in our city, so it's not the same. And plus, all the other brands that, like, all the other brands that are not even really, they're not as known, but then they're not in Canada. So, but yeah, definitely Paris. I honestly, anywhere in any of these countries that you've just mentioned here,
yeah,
I say I'd rather go there to shop than Canada. Oh, okay, Shanna. What is your first luxury item? If handbag, which one? For me, if it was my first handbag, and like we don't count the Coach and like the contemporary brands, it would be my Alma PM, and it's the seasonal color called Cassis, which is kind of like a dark purple color, and it was an EP leather. I no longer have that bag, by the way, not anymore. Sold it to a love subby in Quebec.
Mine is my Speedy 25. That is my first luxury LV luxury bag.
Okay, so Maria, I think it's Hong Kong. I would say it's Hong Kong, but
I think Hong Kong, even actually Singapore is also really good. Like Singapore is like Marina Bay Sands, Orchard area. They've got a lot, but yeah, I think Hong Kong has more fashion forward, and yeah, I just think they're also between the two. I remember Hong Kong being very, very glitzy. So yeah, let's go with Hong Kong. Let's go with Hong Kong.
I heard like Japan, like Tokyo is pretty good too.
Oh,
Is it
pretty
Tokyo
good.
or Kyoto, or I wasn't into luxury yet at the time when I visited, so I don't know, but I hear a lot of good things. Maybe Rio can let us know. Grace, Kim, which language do you feel the most comfortable speaking?
English. English for me.
It's so funny, me too, because like I was gonna say, even though the other languages were I learned first, but because I speak English all the time now, and I can't speak Chinese to anyone because my husband doesn't speak it. His family doesn't speak it, so like I can only speak it to my mom when I am on the phone with her. So yeah, it would be English. I always call myself 本桶水 and everything because like I'm just dabbling, pretty much. Oh,
Half a bucket.
maybe you can find out. No, actually, you already kind of.
Well, I only Amy knows. Only Amy
Yeah.
knows. Something we said today. But
Yeah, not today, not today.
Yeah, not today.
Today is about
I did do a video filmed yesterday, very quick one, really short, like spur of the moment unboxing. I have to edit it. We'll see if I can edit it today and upload it tomorrow morning. We will try.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Oh, Shanna's like, worst day is also break up with ex. Yeah, those are heartbreaking, especially when you're young, right? Like it's like nothing is worse than that because that's like probably the most experience you've had like at the time, right?
It's deep in the heart, because you're a child. You don't know other heartaches, but that is like so like, oh, I want to die. Now when I think back about it, I'm like,
Yeah. Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
There are things to do. God, we got no time for boys.
Yes. Actually, I was never into boys. No, I don't mean like orientation, but I was always too serious, especially in high school, because I always remembered most of the other girl students were always talking about boys, and I'm like, what? Like, whatever. So boring. Why? Why give them so much like importance? I'm more important. I need to study. That's how I always felt. I was always too serious, too hard on myself because I needed to excel. Okay. I'm just seeing comments after comments.
Yeah, lots of comments.
Okay, this sounds funny. Oh my god, my parents told us if we swallowed a fish bone, we would choke and die. Really? That's so funny. Because for us, if I swallowed a fish bone, like I would tell my mom, like, oh, I think I swallowed a fish bone. She'd be like, oh, it's fine. You'll digest it. Yeah.
No, okay. So when I accidentally swallowed a fish bone, my mom, faster, eat a big spoon of rice.
To push it down.
And then that big ball of rice will be rolling down your throat. And visually in my head, I can just imagine the rice pushing the fish bone down. I'm like, I think we're safe.
Yeah.
Saved by the rice ball.
That's how I feel now still, because like I grew up knowing how to eat fish from like the whole fish, right? So and with chopsticks, like I cannot do otherwise, like not with a spoon, not with a fork and a knife, no, chopsticks. And if I still swallow a bone, I just know that I will just digest it, especially because it's usually a small bone. Because if it's big enough, my chopstick, I would have seen it, I would have taken it
True.
already. So I kind of want to call myself like a pretty professional fish eater, but yeah, I'm not afraid of eating fish bones or any bones for that matter. But yeah, they're usually small. Oh, okay. What about Ferragamo for bags and Bulgari for fine jewelry? A lot of talks about Chanel, Hermes, and VCA and Cartier, but never heard so much about these two. Good question.
Good question. Maybe this can be something that we take in the new year as a topic. Ferragamo and Bulgari.
We don't have a Bulgari store here. I think there might be some pieces in our large, like the high-end department store, Holt Renfrew. We do have a Ferragamo store here. Yeah, it would be a nice topic to talk about. I think it's just because they're not as, yeah, they're just not as like mainstream for us, which is why we don't talk about it as much. But we could totally do something about it. Okay, I think my dream career is to see all types of handbags all day and also get to buy it.
Yeah, so your dream career is the same as mine, tie.
Yes, yes, yes. MK, Amy, I have many friends working as designers, and a lot of them are fried and burnt out, and they hate fashion.
You know?
Yeah, it's a like I knew even going in, even back then, that it would be a cutthroat industry. I guess I'm glad that my mom said no. Because I can still enjoy, you can still enjoy fashion without being in it, like without being in the industry. Type A girls. Do you think you're a type A? I don't think so.
What's a type A?
Well, I don't know about you, but I'm not for myself. I don't.
What's a
Am
type
I?
A?
I do expect a lot from others. But I have no problems working with Kat, by the way, because she's reliable. So I'm like, oh, doesn't matter. Like I don't need to remind anything. Like that's the thing. Like maybe that's why I'm not such a good team player, because I hate it when I end up with someone who doesn't do their part. You have to constantly correct their errors or remind them what the deadline, or just not reliable. So am I type A? Are you?
What is the opposite of type A? What is there a type A? What is the opposite
Let
of
me
type?
Google that. Okay, type A. Let's look at what type A is, because I think type A is pretty.
A for aggressive, A for assertive.
May include operating at a more urgent pace, demonstrating higher levels of impatience, having a more competitive nature, getting upset easily, and associating self-worth with achievement. Maybe there's degrees of type A then? Let me see what is the opposite of type A. Type B. Well, you're probably familiar with the characteristics of type A. Hard driving, ambitious, perfectionist. You might not be as familiar with the counterpart, type B. Okay, I have to click in it.
So I've read the type B. So it's like more chill, relaxed, easygoing, patient.
Highly flexible, easygoing. Type A is more meticulous. Type B tends to be more casual and carefree. Okay, I'm type A.
I think I'm a mix. I'm a mix.
Yeah,
like
me too.
I can be type. I have grown to be more type B, but there are certain things I am very type A. Like I cannot stand certain things. Like if when it comes to certain like housework, okay, if I say get it done, just get it done. I can't, and it stresses me out if it's not done. Like so certain things are type A, but yeah, I'm appreciating type B more. Like it's okay, don't sweat the little things. Don't sweat the little things.
I agree. I think I learned to be more type B. I actually learned it more when, which is why there's so many people that have impacted my life outside of. It's funny because I'm grateful for my parents, okay, but they're very naive in a way, and also they're very they're not type A, or maybe they're very what is the word, they just feel like they have their limits and that they cannot achieve more. They've always had this belief that, you know, let's say I always ask them before, I'm like, why didn't you learn English, or why didn't you learn French, or why didn't you, because my mom used to be a nurse in Hong Kong, but when she moved here, she complete like that nursing degree that she has, it's like she's not using it, and she's doing manual work, working day and night for like less than regular what is the wage, the minimum wage. So I always asked her, like back then, I'm like, why don't you maybe study English so that maybe get your license again, or whatever, like, you know, whatever you need to continue being in the same industry or whatever. But they always, like, the answer is always like, we're too old. It's basically they've given up, right? Always, it's always like the impression that I get. So I'm grateful for them. I'm grateful for what they did to give us what we have here, and the fact that we live in Canada, so we get more opportunities. But everything that I learn, or everything that I aspire to be, I've had the drive myself, and it's other people that impacted me throughout my life. So teachers in grade school, and then the other people that really impacted my life would be one of my bosses. So in university, I was in the co-op program, so I not only do I have to go to like regular classes, but I also had internships in between semesters. And one of my internship was at Cognos, which is IBM now. And my boss used to like, he taught me so much in terms of like being less hard on myself. He always told me, why are you so hard on yourself? Because I'm always so hard on myself. And I always, like, I would do my work, I would present it to him, and then I would feel like it's not good enough. And he's like, what are you talking about? It's like, it's perfect or whatever. Like, he's always the one who's like changed my mind about how I felt about myself. So what I was trying to say here is that, yes, I learned to become more type B because of people like him throughout my life that influenced me to be okay with the way I was already. Like, I was too much of a perfectionist. I was never good enough for my books. And then obviously, because I'm like that, I also expect other people to be like that. Like during schoolwork, if I was in like with teammates that didn't do their part, I always felt so frustrated, and you know, those things. But I learned to let go as well. And you have to in life, because everyone's so different. And especially with YouTube, you learn to see, or you get to see that so many people have such different opinions, and it's fine, you know, as long as you're respectful. But yeah, just to say that I guess I am type A, but I learned so much to become type B. And like Kat said, to not sweat the small stuff, really.
Yeah. Because it preoccupies the mind so
Yeah.
much. And I mean, I can say it, but at the same time, I'm still learning it, because sometimes the small little things, I'm like, why am I worried about this? Why am I stressing over it? Then you have to mentally tell yourself, okay, there are more important things to do. But because you have that personality, or I have that personality, so it takes up a portion of your mind for the day. So yeah, but definitely over the
Totally.
years, I've definitely become type B, and I love it.
And sometimes I almost feel guilty that I'm too much of a type B now. I'm like, you do it tomorrow. It's okay that I didn't do it. Like I always it's okay. You don't have to be so hard. Like now I'm like the total opposite sometimes. I'm like, no, need to get back to work. MK, Amy, my parents were the same. They suffered from self-confidence and being too humble. Yeah. I think I totally get me. And I totally get you. Like and I think it's a lot of the I don't want to say it's all immigrant parents because it's not true. It's just maybe it's also the way that my parents grew up because I remember my mom said, and it's also maybe her personality too, because they are my mom is the third of 4 children, and of all the 4 children, she was the one who was always scared of my grandpa. Like she's always scared because he kind of like has his thing, like he would not allow everyone has to be in bed by like 7 o'clock.
Wow.
Not allowed to have the radio on when he was at home. Like he was pretty severe, and if you don't hold your chopsticks right, he like hit you. Like it's like he's pretty perfectionist, type A, I suppose. But my mom was scared. Like she was the scary cat. She was always the one who always has to do it, get it right, and not make him angry. Whereas my big auntie and even my youngest auntie, they're more rebellious. They would talk back, or they would be like whatever, like, you know. But my mom's personality is more like she's more scary cat. She's more like, I need to obey.
Obedient.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's I want to say it's good and it's bad because like my mom's super nice, but at the same time I get a little bit of her too. Like sometimes I feel like I'm not as strong of a person because I got a little bit of that from her too. Yeah.
Possible. Possible.
Shanna, Amy, you may have missed my question. How did you get into luxury stuff? Any influence from anyone in your life? Nope. Okay, that's not true. I think I mentioned it before. So for me, I'll let Kat go after. But for me, I've always loved fashion, but not luxury because I didn't know luxury back then. The first time that I really it really opened my eyes was when I visited Vancouver, you know, just traveling. And I noticed that everyone was wearing like the nice bags, like LV bags, Chanel bags, and like everyone was just so like different, but like you can tell it's label. And even though I didn't really know the label that well before, like I didn't really, like I know Chanel was like, you know, supposed to be really expensive, but I didn't know how expensive. Like I didn't know how expensive LV bags were, or I didn't know how, like I didn't know that it was such a like, you know, there was like luxury and then there was like, you know, contemporary. To me, they were all like brand names, but I didn't really even know the distinction. But when I visited the city and I noticed how different it was, like everyone was dressed differently and they were carrying different things. And then the friends that I met, they were all younger than me, but they were carrying those bags. And I started noticing. That's how I got into it. You could say that they were the influence, but only because I saw it and I saw it so often. And it was such a difference between that and where I was from. So that's how I got started. How about you, Kat?
Same. I think from seeing, like none of my family members.
Yeah, me neither. None of my family.
Really into labels. I think I'm the only one probably. But yeah, looking at magazines, seeing them, then after that actually seeing them in real life, it's, I would say, the start of the interest. What made me buy it? That one I cannot remember, but I think over time it's sort of like, yeah, I like it, and after a while, like, okay.
And now we're like, yeah, okay. But yeah, those were all the questions. And I just skipped 3 questions at the end because I saw the time. I was like, oh my gosh, we spent a lot of times with those questions. But I hope that you guys enjoyed it. And like I said earlier, this is our last episode of 2020. We'll be back.
Yeah.
So we won't be back on January 1st or 2nd. So that week we're still off. So for the next 3 weeks we'll be off. But definitely be subscribed to both our channels because that's where you're gonna see the notification of our next episode. And yeah, I wish everyone a happy holidays and hope you guys have a fun Christmas. I don't know because we're not supposed to gather, so I'm just gonna do whatever. What's your plan for Christmas, Kat?
Nothing actually, because oh, actually, I do have something. I'm teaching.
Oh.
I've decided that since there's not much of a celebration in here, because we can sort of gather like 5 people, maybe have dinner and all, but there's no like big like, oh, we're gonna go out and see the Christmas lights, etc. So I have decided that instead of sitting at home being type B, I have decided to take on some classes. So I'm going to be productive on Christmas Day. And yes, people do go to the gym on Christmas Day and New Year's Eve. Apparently they do. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty awesome. I think here the it's supposed to be just all family time. Every store, if not most, except the essential like pharmacies and grocery stores are open for limited hours usually. Like I mean before, not just this year. But I think this year we're not even allowed. So we're just gonna stay home with our own family, and we'll be posting our regular content. It's just that not the live stream. So yeah.
For sure.
Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. It was a little different, but
wait. I gotta plug for myself. I gotta semi-plug for myself. Make sure you check out my video next week because I have a really, really exciting collaboration.
Oh yeah. Definitely be subscribed to Kat. I mean, you guys have been watching the show for a while, so I would hope that you're subscribed to both of us. Have your notifications on, and like I said, happy holidays to everyone, and we'll see you again in 3 weeks on this show. But our regular content is still going on. All right. Bye, guys. Thank you for
Happy holidays.
being here. Bye.